A thread by Carlos Osuita. See? Don't take your guns to protests. Leftists will attack you anyway, and then you get arrested. From the Daily Mail, former city council candidate shot New Mexico protester. And of course, there's his mugshot. Carlos continues, the New Mexico Civil Guard accomplished nothing. These protesters are on another planet. The cops did nothing to protect the statue. So unless you're willing to ruin your life, don't go to protests with guns. After the guy drew his gun, they attacked him. When he tried to flee, they chased him and knocked him down. Can you finally get it through your heads that this is just a phase? And when you were shooting insane people over statues of conquistadors, and now the cops and governor are blaming the guy who got chased, knocked down, and beaten. From the article, in a statement posted on Twitter, Albuquerque Police Chief Michael Geyer said investigators had received reports about vigilante groups possibly instigating this violence. If this is true, we will be holding them accountable to the fullest extent of the law, including federal hate group designation and prosecution, Geyer said. The shooting tonight was a tragic, outrageous, and unacceptable act of violence, and it has no place in our city. Mayor Tim Keller said in a statement, our diverse community will not be deterred by acts meant to divide or silence us. Our hearts go out to the victim, his family, and witnesses whose lives were needlessly threatened tonight. This sculpture has now become an urgent matter of public safety. You must accept this. Democrats are insane. So, confronting them with guns will only ruin your life. We have to let the inevitable happen. Cops are quitting in massive numbers, so blue states are getting what they want. Let them have it. When drawing a gun makes people attack you, it's game over. Stay out of this mess. Let leftists turn their cities and states into crap holes. You can't stop it. All this banning is temporary. After Donald Trump gets his Trump 2020 landslide, the real changes come. Red states get all the cops. Red states get all the businesses. Red states get the economy. And when enough cops quit, Trump sends in the National Guard to protect distressed communities. Not the wealthy communities whose insane kids are doing all this. Blue states get to keep the homeless and gangs who will be pushed into all the communities that caused this. So, use your goddamn heads. These are bizarre zombies not connected to reality. It happened in Omaha. A pawnbroker fired warning shots after he was attacked, and that made unarmed nutters attack him more. He ended up killing one. Stop treating leftists as rational. You're watching frenzied Stone Age Islamic State cargo cult mental patients attacking scary inanimate objects and wiping their butts on art while chanting incantations. Why, in God's name, do you keep trying to engage them? They are not members of the same species. Shooting them makes them redouble their efforts, the way the Imperial Japanese did. This isn't a cultural shift. It's the last bonsai charge. The last one is always the biggest and the most violent. You defeat them at the ballot box, not with guns. Remember, Democrats now think that murder is justified. Rich, white people of Minneapolis say you need to let black people murder your children. This is exactly how Timothy McVeigh justified murdering children at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. Look at their ages: 6 months, 5.5 years, 2.5, 14 months, 8 months. McVeigh called himself a warrior. He said that the infants and toddlers weren't evil as individuals, but they shared the collective guilt of being involved in an evil system, the federal government. So that made them evil, and they had to pay. Democrats are saying the exact same thing about white people. And these young goons are just as insane as McVeigh. He said he had a government implant in his butt. He went looking for UN military bases in the US and he tried to go to Area 51. You're fantasizing if you think you could put on a uniform and go and stop the Stone Age Islamic State from tearing down the scary voodoo bad juju statues and ban the heap big bad medicine words and images. Primitives destroy what they hate and fear. These Stone Age savages are rich and white, but they're no different from the Taliban and Timothy McVeigh. Do you know what Rooster Cogburn said about them? You can't serve papers on a rat, baby sister. You gotta kill him or let him be. Let the rats be. No more guns. This isn't true grit. It also isn't the French or Russian Revolution. Supporters of leftists must be whittled down to the absolute minimum. The Islamic State statue bashers are doing that for us. And finally, get this through your heads. Even moderate Democrats are torn. They do, in actual fact, agonize over choosing between Trump and the Stone Age. That's how bad off they are. This isn't our fight. Now it's down to Democrats. In the past, we debated the merits of different flavors of representative democracy. Now it's down to freedom or the absolute tyranny of a violent, absolutist, universally oppressive theocracy. Freedom versus leftism. There's nothing more we can say. Please don't choose the side that bans and physically destroys everything it doesn't like. Oh, really? If you have to say that, it's too late for them. The protesters and Taliban have moved the war into the hearts of Democrats. That's good. Use your guns for self-defense. If you absolutely must confront the Stone Age people or whatever illogical reason, don't fight them. They're completely insane. Guns rev them up. They aren't snowflakes, they're cavemen. At the Battle of Omdurman, September 2nd, 1898, the Mahdi forces of Caliph Abdullah al-Tashi didn't know what quick-firing artillery and machine guns were. The Mahdists had 52,000 men, most armed with spears. Their casualties were 12,000 dead, 13,000 wounded, and 5,000 captured. Today's rich, white, Stone Age statue bashers are like the Mahdi army. At Omdurman, the Mahdists attacked until they ran out of men. The final Mahdi cavalry charge of 500 men was wiped out. All 500 were killed. Do you get it now? Leftism has become a religion that worships Lyssa, the Greek goddess of rage, insanity, frenzy, and rabies. The blue cities and states can replace Washington and Lincoln with Lyssa and Hitler. Am I getting through to you? All the lightning fast mayhem has made it so that Trump no longer has to do anything, even though he will, of course. The election will now be a referendum on leftism, not Trump. And don't argue with me. Nobody else was able to see this, so I don't want to hear any more demands that we screw everything up. Armed militias don't work. Drawing a gun doesn't work. Shooting people doesn't work. These are zombie Islamic State Stone Age statue bashers. The election is now totally up to the Democratic voter. So back off. Be calm. Help them choose between Trump and the Stone Age, because they are honestly torn. Set a good example. Give them every reason to step into the light.